been a long haul, gentlemen. Ladies, now, I don't care what happens now. How many damn votes we do or don't get in the UN. So come Monday morning, 10 a.m., I'm giving Saddam and his 2 sons 48 hours to get out of Dodge, okay?
Indeed.
Just as every American should exercise his or her right to vote on November 4th, they should also exercise their right to go see an important and extremely entertaining film. Director Oliver Stone's W stars the sure-to-be-nominated Josh Brolin as George W. Bush.
Truly, deep down inside, you know I'm a guy like you. A guy you can trust.
Fabulous. Fabulous, W. What it all comes down to is who Joe Voter wants to sit down and have a beer with. And guess who that is?
Just remember, make mine non-alcoholic.
Stone's bold abandonment of a traditional linear narrative helps create a rich character collage that truly makes you understand this man and almost empathize with him.
After 9/11, what would you say your biggest mistakes would be, and what lessons have you learned from them?
No, I wish you would have given me this written question beforehand, John. So.
Stone leaves no stone unturned when rounding out this supporting cast with phenomenal performances, including Jeffrey Wright as Colin Powell, Richard Dreyfuss as Dick Cheney, and James Cromwell as Bush Sr. It's rare when a film about a U.S. president is released while that president is still in office, so it will surely be a conversation starter. So be sure to see it before you talk about it. That's my take on the film, and now let's throw it to the Critics Roundup. We've invited film experts from around the country to join in on the conversation. Joining Ben and me today is Matt Singer from IFC and Christy Lemire, film critic from the Associated Press. Welcome, everybody. Let's start with you, Matt Singer. As you know, I feel like Josh Brolin will get an Oscar nomination, but let's talk about the rest of the supporting cast. Who really stood out for you?
I liked a lot of the supporting performances. Richard Dreyfuss as Dick Cheney. Jeffrey Wright as Colin Powell. The one that I had a little problem with was Toby Jones as Karl Rove. I think he went a little overboard with the look-alike makeup. He felt, to me, like the love child of the real Karl Rove and Quatu from Total Recall. I was very unnerved every time he was on screen, but I agree with you. Josh Brolin is really, really quite good in the film.
Singer keeping it political with a Schwarzenegger reference. I like that. Christy, let's go to you. What are your thoughts on the cast?
Yeah, Brolin's great in it. It would have been very, very easy for him to lapse into caricature by playing George W. Bush, but he's solid. Richard Dreyfuss, I think, is maybe the best one in this, in that his Dick Cheney, again, could have been over the top. He looks like him, he sounds like him, but he's also really acting. He has that one great monologue that really stands out. Tanya Newton, totally over the top as Condoleezza Rice, down to the gap between her teeth, it's so bad. But James Cromwell really gets the essence of Poppy Bush, I think.
Ben, it's no secret where Oliver Stone's political allegiance lies. Yeah. However, do you think Republicans will be able to get into this film and enjoy it as well?
I think one reason why this movie works so well is that Stone didn't do what we might expect him to do, which is take a hatchet to George Bush. This movie is really a character study, and in a sense, Stone lets Bush be Bush, or rather, lets Josh Brolin be Bush, and I think that's what really makes this work.
I agree with you, Ben. It's fair and balanced, if I may. You know, you could have made him look like a total idiot, and you don't. And I think whatever you thought about him going into the film, you'll probably be thinking the exact same thing going out of it.
I agree with you, Christy. Your sort of expectations going into the movie are not really reinforced by, say, by Oliver Stone's agenda, if you will. And I want to talk about the political ramifications of this film and its release date, because it was really sped up to be released in time for the election. So, Matt Singer, let's start with you. How's this going to play out on November 4th?
It does strike me as sort of odd because, as you say, it's a sympathetic Bush. It's surprising in that way. You think that because the movie was rushed to get done in time for the election, that there would be this sense of urgency about the message of the movie, and I don't think that's there. I think it is a very sort of conventional rise and fall of an American, person kind of biopic.
Well, I disagree with you enormously in that regard, Matt. I mean, I think it is a conventional biopic, but I think it is incredibly relevant because he's a sitting president, and I think what makes it work so much is there is no hatchet job. I think, yes, he's sympathetic, but it suggests that this guy lacked the interest or curiosity to become a great president, and that we have sort of suffered the consequences of that lack of curiosity.
But he comes off as a very simple guy, I think, to his core, which is what was surprising and also empathetic toward him. Like, all he wanted to do was watch baseball and drink beer. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he wanted to go play fetch with his dog in the yard.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I think we now realize in 2008 that while that may be an okay guy to hang out with, that is not a guy we want running the country.
Right, no, he's totally in over his head, of course, and we see that from the film, and I feel kind of sorry for him, I think, because of it.
Time now for our ballots. Let's hit the voting booth. Matt Singer, see it, skip it, or rent it?
Well, I really enjoyed a lot of the performances, but to me it really did feel sort of like a conventional biopic or a TV movie, so I have to say rent it.
Christy, which side of the aisle do you stand?
Yeah, it is sort of a standard biopic in a lot of ways, but it surprised me in the empathy it creates and good performances. I had fun. I say see it.
Mank, we'll close with you.
Matt, who rents this movie? The election's in 2 weeks. See it now.
I agree. You have to see it, and I am the decider, so I say see it. All right, that's 3 for see it and 1 for rent it. So overall, we say you should see W.